Hey F5 community, Aubrey here with DevCentral. If you've been paying attention to the news recently, you may have noticed that there have been quite a few airports that have been hit with denial of service attacks. I figured it might be an appropriate time to point out how F5 prefers to mitigate DoS before it ever gets a chance to impact your applications. Now, whether your applications exist today in a data center or in a public cloud presence, one thing they have in common is they rely on routing to bring packets to them. Now, these routes can often very easily get overwhelmed by inbound pressure from bots or other mechanisms to establish a DoS attack against your application, whether that is an airport's website or whether that is an email infrastructure or such. There are finite caps to these routing resources, whether they are the size of the pipe coming into the data center or whether they are a choke point per tenant that is put on in large-scale routing rules at your cloud provider. Either way, by launching a volumetric attack against your application or an app DoS attack against your application, an attacker is able to disable features and functionality which impact your users' ability to interface with your environment. Now, what we can do to stop packets before they even get there is to front-end this whole thing with the F5 distributed cloud. Now, the first thing that the distributed cloud does is it provides an anycast route for your application. So one IP address that's advertised globally as an equal hop, so that no matter where your customer or attacker is coming from, they are able to get to the application as quick as possible from the closest POP. There are also, to date, 22 POPs, and that is expanding all the time. So if we provide more routes to be able to distribute this application geographically, we cut off some of that geographic breadth of an attack. Now, what the distributed cloud provides from a security perspective beneath that, or between this Anycast relationship and your application, is world-class web app firewalling. We've been at it for multiple decades here and are, according to Forrester, among the tops in the world at it. API defense, this is something that we've been doing for 15 years for our customers. This is not a new thing for us. We can ensure that APIs are protected at this point as well. In addition to that, we made substantial infrastructure enhancements so that we could tackle the worst DoS attacks. And of course, we can apply our AI, machine learning, bot defense, on and on. Now, after we've got this front door set up for your application, the next thing that we need to do is point the distributed cloud at the application and then ensure that your application routes do not accept traffic towards your applications from anywhere except F5 distributed cloud points of presence. I hope you've enjoyed this view of how F5 defends your application in minutes from the worst of DoS attacks out there. I'm Aubrey with DevCentral. Thanks and have a great F5 day.